nightlife is not just about going out to have fun and buying a beer. It's really a whole ecosystem of jobs.
What happens if Night Rider come up? Then what happened to Grab like that? Then Grab might lose money, right?
That's a very hard one to answer, but I think...
Am I right to say that from the public perspective, they feel there's not enough things that's being done?
While we're also waiting for these changes to happen, I just got into the hot seat. I mean, in 10 years from now, people will pay people just to...
In a previous interview, you mentioned that your role as the president of Singapore Nightlife Business Association is an unpaid role. I didn't know that. It was like voluntary role, right?
Yes. So I decided to participate and contribute at a very, very intense time for nightlife. And by the way, we are changing our name to Singapore Nighttime Business Association for a reason. I'll talk a little bit more about that. But why I got involved is I think I've always been in nightlife.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a musician. I played, Harry's Bar. I played, Aubrey's used to be a place called Aubrey's. Then I played at Swing. Swing was amazing. We played sometimes till 3 a.m., sometimes longer.
Yeah.
Can't say on record. But, we used to jam all the way. I mean, we start at like 9 o'clock, all the way to whatever, late. And I've always loved the nightlife.
I realized that most people don't really see nightlife beyond bars and clubs. And you as the president, you actually have to handle a wide variety of nightlife, right?
Yeah.
So maybe you can give us like some brief example that's what is nightlife that is not bar and club that you have to take care of as well and take into consideration.
So traditionally, SNBA has worked a lot with bars, restaurants, live music venues, KTV joints, all kinds of nightlife,
Even event space also, right?
Not so much yet. So we are transitioning towards that. That's why we are changing our name.
Singapore Nighttime.
Nighttime. And why nighttime? Because it's commonly known now globally called nighttime economy. The nighttime economy, which means to say anything that happens, in my view, after 5 o'clock. But some say 6, some say 7. But I say after 5 because after work.
Okay, you're president, right? You okay lah? Okay.
Different definitions.
Right.
But why say after 5? Because there are coffee joints now after 5. There are matcha. There are all kinds of stuff after 5.
Wow, but I'm scared to drink coffee after 5. Yeah, like that house. Yeah.
I drink coffee anytime in the day.
Wow, no effect.
I got no effect.
Oh, okay.
But I love coffee too. Other than my, choice of alcohol beverage.
Yes.
But so I think the important thing is that nighttime economy. Why? Because things are happening after 5 that you never see before. I mean, you have coffee parties, you have events and things like that, and you have all these kind of things happening. And why is it important that all of us work together, like different things? I mean, we used to bar hop all the time, right? Now we think about like events, concerts, live music, DJ, and night markets, night bazaar. How do you actually get everyone? Even hotels will be interested because you have more activity at night, vibrancy. It actually affects all, including retail, right? So I don't think we should look at the past. The past is more about bars, restaurants, as I mentioned, live music venues, dance clubs. But moving forward, I think we need to work with all the stakeholders, and in order to make a very coherent collaboration, and also kind of like making Singapore nighttime more vibrant. And you cannot just do it by yourself, especially with young people not really going for nightlife.
Yeah.
Now we have to engage them, right? We have to engage them through this other after 5 events and activities. So that's why we are moving towards that, so that we can actually engage with more stakeholders, So
with drinks getting more expensive and people preferring like you say, right, Gen Z don't really preferring to go out, and Netflix is such a huge draw, right? What are some measures that you use to like convince people to come out?
So,
is it multi-layered experiences or?
So recently, Boat Quay, Clarke Quay, we have, of course, the change of
the 4 a.m.
4 a.m. thing. Of course, we are also doing road closures with SRO. Hopefully soon do more events. Road closures are cool because it becomes like an event space, live music, dance, whatever you want to do, like flea markets, pet friendly, things like that. So that we are using that as a sandbox. We also working with the other agencies in terms of new concepts, making it easier for new concepts to start. So I think it's step 1. It's just a small step towards what we want to do. I mean, but this is an important step, whereby hopefully this works, and then we can move on to the next precinct, etc. lah.
Yeah.
So I think there are some fundamental issues. I mean, cost is one.
Yeah.
Going back home is another. Without spending $50
Yeah.
after
Okay.
midnight. Those are issues that we are brought up, and we work with the agencies to keep pushing those issues. But it's not just a one stop solution.
Yeah.
It's actually a very big issue. That's why I say it's good to engage all the other stakeholders.
Right.
Because then together we can say, okay, can we do this? Can we talk to Grab? Can we talk to Comfort? Can we see if there's a way we talk to MRT? They used to have late
Night owl.
and
Night
of course
rider.
Night
Night
Rider
rider.
and all this. So how do we actually find a way to bring that back? Because at the end of the day, young people go out, they want to know how to go back home,
Yeah.
right? So those are some of these issues that we have to hopefully lobby for change,
Why did Night Rider stop in the first place?
I think COVID.
Oh, because COVID, right? Then they haven't restarted yet.
Sometimes it's difficult to start something, you just stop. Find the manpower, I mean, there are factors involved here, but that's where I guess industry and then of course, public and industry can come together. I mean, when I say public, I mean like government, and companies can come together and say, hey, how can we provide that again? Because that's a real issue, I mean, and then of course we don't want people to be drink driving.
Yeah.
Right? So we want to be able to provide safety. So enough reasons to try to find a way. Of course, when that happens, obviously more people will come out.
What happens if Night Rider come up? Then what happened to Grab like that? Then Grab might lose money, right?
That one is that's a very hard one to answer. But I think I would say generally what we're trying to push for, if it's more consumers going out, it benefits
Everyone.
obviously nightlife. It also benefits the stakeholders. It's a compounded effect, right?
Yeah.
But it takes time. Manpower is another issue. Manpower costs have gone up.
So the levy and the ability to hire foreign workers have not improved, right?
I think definitely the government is aware of that. So I think they are taking the steps to try to. Actually have taken some steps to try to help. But there's a lot of factors here.
Yeah.
The cost of business, cost of goods. I mean, there's inflation happening. So there's a lot of things. Of course, there's also other options. People go overseas very often now.
Yep.
Yes, so that's also another thing that I wanted to ask you, right? Is it truly more worth it to go to like Bangkok and party as compared to in Singapore? So many people prefer to,
It's the reality that we have to accept. Then what kind of value can we bring?
Reality that what? Singapore is more expensive than our neighboring countries.
That people are going overseas because it's more affordable. I mean, it's true, right?
Yep.
I mean,
That's a huge issue for SNBA to solve, right?
we can't solve that. I think it's market forces which we can't solve, but we can certainly make certain rules, right? And try to find a way, like for example, the 4 o'clock rule. There could be one example. Of course, there's others like the road closure. Because with road closure, we can actually increase the footfall and vibrancy of the place.
So Danny, just to add on, right? Am I right to say that from the public perspective that they feel that there's not enough things that's being done, but actually there's a lot of things, just that it's not being mentioned, that the work behind it is there's actually a lot of things that you guys understand needs to be done, but like I said, there's a lot of processes, and right now it's just taking that baby step and that sandbox in order to take that step 2, step 3, step 4, right? But from the public perspective is 4 o'clock only.
While we're also waiting for these changes to happen, I mean, I just got into the hot seat. I mean, this is just
Nathan just
barely,
handed over to you a hot seat.
but Nathan is still involved, and we are very nice, supportive, exco. But I just got on board. So I think the key part here is that while we are engaging agencies to, impress upon them that we need to make some of these changes, we also as a association is trying to engage our members to say, what else can we do together, collaborate. Like for example, the coffee sober party, everybody talked about it for a while, Funan, spec. How do you then work with coffee brands to do things? So it really means that we have to kind of go back to the basics. How do we bring people through community building? Like for example, just example, I mean not SNBA example, Timbre example, we had a wrestling event not long ago We have concerts that we hold. So I tell you, it's really like going back to the drawing board.
Yep.
Really, really thinking what else can we do to bring in people, And the reality is rental. No one can really control that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them are private owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How can you can't, it's hard, Then what do is you have to think for yourself. How do you then sort of introduce new things, and be unique lah. Another issue is that a lot of people don't go into F&B as a career,
Especially Singaporean.
especially Singaporeans. So the view of F&B is always like, never study, then end up as a waiter. But we shouldn't have those mindset.
Same for musicians
Frankly, musicians also exactly. I grew up as a musician, full-time musician. Every time Chinese New Year, my mother tried to explain, also very difficult. 他是弹guitar, band boy. Sorry, I went a bit bilingual. But it's like, wow, really, I can make a living. And I still explain till today.
Yep.
Still try to explain that. So, I think we have to have a different mindset on F&B. Service is actually commendable, admirable. Serving someone food, cooking someone food.
Maintain the composure.
I mean, it's a wonderful thing, And Singapore is really built on that. We used to be known, I don't know if we are still known that, as a food paradise. Whether it's hawker or whether it's a restaurant or whether it's a bar, whether it's whatever it is, right? We used to have so much options, Chimes, Holland V, we have all these options to go. We tell our tourist friends, where to go. So it is our DNA.
Yep.
So it's really a collective responsibility to try to get that back.
Why is there a 4 a.m. rule though? Like before COVID, right? Everything also ends at 4 roughly. Legally, right? Ends at 4, right?
So so that's something that we have also suggested. Like I say, it's a step.
Okay.
Step,
So it's actually possible, but still in the works lah.
Possible. Anything is possible. Of course, we are just lobbying for it.
Okay.
I
thought like the government purposely don't want it to cross 4 a.m. for specific reasons, but actually not like that.
In the past, we had places that are all night. There used to be licenses for all night.
Oh damn!
Live venues, DJs. They were, and that's a long time ago though.
Okay.
So like I said, COVID has actually changed. It was such a big incident. That really created a lot of change.
Yep.
Right. Suddenly F&B and nightlife just basically closed.
So am I right to say, Danny, that pre-COVID and post-COVID, I would say whatever that we had pre-COVID, in a way, post-COVID has resetted everything, right?
Yeah.
Has totally resetted everything, right?
Because don't forget the 18-year-old me when I was 18 years old and in NS. You all remember what? NS. You tell your friend, hey, book out, let's go out. Chong. Right? Remember the word chong?
Yep.
Remember the word chong?
Still being used.
Chong until we end up in living room and Marriott at 5 or 6 o'clock. Remember Marriott?
Yep.
There was a place called Living Room.
I know.
Remember that?
I'm old enough to
Right?
Living Room.
It was open till 6.
Whoa.
Right? Yeah,
I've
remember
never
that?
been, but I heard of it. Yeah.
Banan, so many places. So my point is, things have resetted because a lot of the businesses had to close. Some of them really just, it's still closure.
Yeah.
And every other week you read about it, right? So it's just, we are just trying to recover and still recovering.
Reset and
that.
recover, I would say.
Yeah. So
I think with the many closures, right, oftentimes people from the outside will be like, hey, government not helping, but I think the work is in progress lah. And why do you think, right, that nightlife and this kind of vibrancy is important to a country, since it does not correlate to the percentage of GDP in a country? Like, for example, in Ibiza or the EDM countries, right, the dance music countries like Europe, right, clubs, bars makes up a huge percentage of the GDP. That's why it makes sense for the government to pump money and support it, right? But Singapore is not like that, Our main thing is service and trade, right? But why is nightlife, F&B, nighttime events still important to a country, right? When we technically don't depend on it to survive.
Okay, so it's just my personal view. Firstly, nightlife is about socializing. For even safe socializing, young people, just hanging out, safely. I mean, you remember Zouk, I mean, in the heyday,
Yeah.
the hot dog stand outside, and people are just hanging out,
Banging and mash.
right? Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's one. The second thing is also it helps employ people.
Oh,
There's a
yes.
huge employment
Definitely.
of people working in nightlife, nighttime, whether it's waiters or bartenders or whatever. It's actually a profession, right? And something deeply steeped into our history. I mean, the Singapore Sling and Raffles Hotel. I mean, all the way to now, there's still this, we go to a bar, we sit down, we just hang out. It's a place to relax, right? I mean, we all need to relax and chill. Nightlife is not just about going out to have fun and buying a beer. It's really a whole ecosystem of jobs. I think we cannot really look at it calculating, as you say just now about the GDP and everything.
Yeah.
It's
Intangibles.
like it is to me lah.
Yeah.
And you know how so many things will be affected. You go early afternoon, maybe have a prata, then you go to your first bar, then you go to a dance club, then you end up in Zouk somewhere, and your friends text you, you go somewhere else, right? And then you end up 5 o'clock having bak kut teh, and then 6 o'clock you're there still out.
Okay, I
Go
take
to
train
living
lah,
room
or living
or
room.
whatever, right?
Yeah.
How many businesses are we talking about now? Now the tourists will come and say, "Wow, this is Singapore, so fun. People are so fun." It's really branding and marketing. So how are we branding our nightlife, nighttime? That's where I try lah.
But
I
in
try
a
my
way,
effort.
are we trying to revitalize that? Because after partying 2 a.m., 3 a.m., you realize that there isn't a lot of supper place anymore.
Yep.
The only place that I can always say, hey, let's go Swee Chun because they're open late. But you look at Newton, nothing,
Yep.
Not
absolutely
enough
zero.
people come out, right?
It used to be so vibrant. There's so many stores open, but I got the shock of my life that there were only like a couple of stores open and the food was unfortunately not as great as before.
So you see, that's another effect of not the vibrancy issue, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it does even affect down to the hawker side.
And then with Gen Zs, right?
My
Going
goodness.
so much into TikTok and the metaverse and staying at home, grab food, Netflix and everything, right? I find myself seeing people with counter opinions about the next generation, which is Gen Alpha, right? Namely Gary Vaynerchuk, the entrepreneur. I saw a TikTok where he said that 2026 will be Gen Alpha's great unplugging, where everything now online is like AI, you cannot even tell what's real, what's fake, right? Do you find that eventually people are so sick and tired of this like over digitization and staying at home, cooping yourself up, and they are so lonely until they cannot take it, right? Then they all one shot come out together in 2026. Do you think that that's the potential trend?
I think 2026, this is just my opinion. I mean, there will be a slight improvement.
Yeah.
But also let's also realize that it's also a lot of neighbors who are also very attractive these days. Whether you go to Batam or you go to JB, I mean, it's a real situation. I mean, nobody can say that it's not, right?
Right.
But put that aside, right? I believe that you're right. It's a cycle lah. So like for me, 2027 is probably more promising. Right, whereby you kind of rebuild until a point where it starts to market forces and will start to come and influence policy and things like that, right? So I'm not 100% optimistic about 2026 because it's still part of correction. I would say 2027 onwards, whereby I think more young people are saying, hey, I didn't know there was live music here. Hey, I didn't know. Hey, you check out the band. Hey, this and that. It also depends on operators.
Yeah.
What can they offer, right? So it's a whole mix of things, right? And then once, as you say, it possibly it will just like floodgates, because people will be tired of like, hey, I'm so tired of my device. Who wouldn't be tired of the device? You keep looking at the device every day. At some point you say, alamak, fatigue.
Yeah.
Right? So hopefully we'll start to see more young people go out, socialize, like as we say, and as we have done before. And there's always been a tradition, The point is that not only the operators have to rethink things and revamp and things like that. I just hope that Singaporeans also understand, these are some local brands that they grew up with. And I know it's not, easy because, cost has gone up, but I just hope that there will be a balance somehow, and then they will come back and say, we need to support our brands.
So do you foresee that people are still using pre-COVID days to put into the now post-COVID days, that the expectations?
I mean, the main thing is generally speaking across the board, the people are going back earlier, right?
Yep.
So you expect that alcohol sales will be
Affected.
less, right?
Yep.
Affected. So then what do you do in the meantime
Yeah.
to push your afternoon sales, whether it's food, whether it's other products?
Mm.
So maybe you want to do earlier parties, and people are already doing that. You used to have tea dance. And,
Yes,
but
fire
that
tea
one is
dance.
the original sober party.
Yeah.
I was at Fire Disco.
Yeah.
That's how old I am, by the way. I'm old enough to remember Fire Disco, and I used to go to
Yeah,
Fire Disco.
Everything comes back in a circle.
You remember?
Everything comes back in a circle. Yeah.
You know, it's exactly. So whatever we are doing with coffee, we actually did it before.
Yeah, it's
already.
just rehashing it, right?
Yeah, it's rehashed.
But do
It's
you
a
think
rehash.
alcohol is the main driver of nightlife in terms of like powering it financially?
It's part of it.
It
It's
is
a
lah.
very important part of it. It's a very important part, of course. You know, but nighttime, it doesn't just involve alcohol lah. So if there's other ways where you can sort of work activities and content and community, that's where it comes. I mean, whether it's open karaoke nights, whether it's a skateboard event, you know. I mean, when we did the wrestling event, wow, it's amazing how many people want to drink beer and watch wrestling. I mean, it's just the adrenaline and it's just, hey, cheers, you know, so you have to find. That means what I'm saying, you have to go
Get
back to the
creative,
basics and
yeah.
then say, what kind of events can I do? And if you really want to maybe explore working with event companies,
Yeah.
event organizers, hey, how about we do something together?
Yeah.
How about then we go to, so it's a lot of, what I find is a lot of collaboration right now. A lot of collaboration. And no choice. Collaborate with someone, maybe bring in their crowd. Because they may not have a venue, but they have a great idea. No? So that's exactly what some of our members are, even myself, I'm doing.
So maybe we can go into negative stigma in nightlife. You know, as we mentioned earlier, right? Like whenever we talk about nightlife, people automatically think club and bar. And then when there's anything bad that happened, automatically people think it's from club and bar. Yeah. Do you have any plans or strategies that you're working with your stakeholders to kind of improve the stigma about nightlife and F&B, like what you mentioned earlier? F&B means, oh, never study, that's why you F&B, or you as a musician, right? Yeah, do we have like a campaign going on to kind of improve the image?
Actually, I started something called Respect SG, which is internship
Yes.
of F&B and also some nightlife. I mean, I just felt at that time after COVID, I started this with Mustafa from Black Hole Group. Two of us were just talking, you know, the perception about F&B is so negative, right? So how do we try to maybe inspire some change? And what we did was that we started together with our very strong team, a very amazing team, 15, 16-year-old Sec 3, Sec 4 students. They get 3 weeks internship, and then some of them are actually 18, 19 with poly students. We work with them on cocktail mixology, you know. So we start literally them younger, and a lot of them actually, when they do the internship, their mindset change. They basically write the feedback that, you know, I never imagined it was so difficult. I really respect the profession. But the key part about mentoring is about mentorship. So the manager and supervisor will mentor them. So they build that relationship,
Right.
teach them about service and all. So there's this connection.
Yeah.
You know, and we found that connection very, very powerful. And not just for the 15 and 16-year-old, actually for the mentor. They suddenly feel like, wow, I'm teaching something to a 15 and 16-year-old.
Yeah.
So I think we have to continue to do this kind of ground-up initiatives. I've been doing that for about 2.5 years already with my team. It's very challenging to run a program like that. But I think we are making some headways.
Yeah.
And I think we have to focus on the new generation. They are the ones that would change the landscape. Negative things, I mean, Singapore is still considered one of the safest countries.
But
Really.
people confirm still got something to complain about. Right?
Sure. Then we are maybe too fixated with that one or two, three people. We shouldn't be so reactive. I think we are, as a country, maybe anxiety. So we are always reactive, but we are still regarded as one of the safest countries in the world. And our nightlife, I mean, I don't see a lot of incidents. I mean, frankly.
As compared to the world.
I mean, you go on YouTube, you just click, you just select a city and say, right, you're going to see more other countries, right?
Yeah.
So I think we have to sometimes
Not
how
so
do I
hard
put
on
it?
ourselves.
Not to be hard on themselves. Correct.
And I think also since young, right, we tie a monetary value to success very strongly at the association. So if a particular sector, right, and you work there, right, and you're not earning a specific amount, right, then you're considered not as successful. And that's probably where the negative stigma comes from. So it really starts from young, right?
That's true. That's true. I mean, when I was 18 when I worked as a waiter, you know, and the job that I did was at Duxton. Actually, funny enough, 18 years old, working there, was my first time I saw a live band on stage. Actually, frankly, that was the first ever inspiration I had about timbre. You know, like, oh, I would love to have a place where have musicians and things like that. So what I'm trying to say is that I guess everybody's different.
Yeah.
But if we can have more positive stories about this, right? And people like myself who's into music and also F&B, then maybe our younger generation, and frankly, they are our hope for the future. They will be our future chefs, our future F&B people, fine dining, live music venues, right? I mean, I was a waiter when he sparked that idea, right? Can you imagine? If they sort of do more experience in service, then maybe they feel like, oh wow, this is amazing. We are feeding people.
Yeah.
You are giving them joy. You know, things like that. Why do we talk about the negative? Why don't we talk about the positive? You know, 20 years of timbre. I've seen people meet there, hook up, get married, have kids. Musicians been with us for 18, 19 years, you know, still working with us. And one of the musicians that actually worked at Timbre, right, is now a co-owner of Blackbird. So why don't we, you know what I mean, we talk about all these other things, why don't we talk about how things inspire the next generation? So I the respect actually is exactly what you just said. What do we do to change mindsets?
Yes.
The best way to do it is to inspire young people in a safe way. They are all there to learn about service. But the key word here is servant leadership or service leadership. Right?
Our dear friend Andrew Ying's favorite.
Is it?
Servant leadership. Yeah. He talked a lot about
I was
that.
just with Andrew to talk.
Yeah.
So once they know that actually it's an honor to serve, right? Then you know that changes the mindset.
With AI
No
taking,
shame,
with AI taking over so many jobs, right? Jobs like plumbers, all these, right, start to become more and more
Oh my
viable,
goodness.
right?
I have such a big opinion on this.
Yeah.
You know, I feel
So
like
what
the
about
next
F&B,
middle class millionaires will be plumbers, aircon repair, and handyman. Seriously. You know.
What about
And in
F&B?
Australia, it's really happened.
Yeah, Australia, very evidently, right? The pay
really
grade,
happened.
walao, the plumber there earn more like our doctors or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
And coming back to what you just said, you're right. With AI, with some loss of jobs, certain particular jobs, then the irony would be that
All
a
these
lot of people
service
will
one
come
become
back to that. But would there be enough customers for that? Like retail, for example, it's badly hit. Right? How would you then, you know? So it's interesting to see in the next couple of years.
because I've seen so many stand-up comedians and podcasters, right? They are saying that, okay, if AI can do everything, and then you can put an AI in robots with a physical body, they can do even more things, right? What is left for humans being to do? What's the only thing left for human beings to do, right? Is to entertain each other.
I think so lah. I think live music for sure is something that
Maybe not even live music, right? Can be like bartender, I'm serving you, building a
talking to you.
relationships. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know, somebody was telling me, I don't know who was it, but I watched this on YouTube. It was I think it's the same guy. What's his name? The guy that you said about the
Joe Rogan.
No, the
Gary V.
Alpha. Jerry.
Gary,
I think he said this. He said, in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, people will pay people just to talk.
Yep.
To hang out with you, right? Like a walk buddy, right?
So you put on Facebook ad, I just say, hey.
They call it grab walk. You grab a person to walk with you.
So who knows?
Yeah.
Yeah, so another interesting point that Eugene mentioned to me was like sports and MMA, right? That captures the human spirit cannot be replaced by AI. Because nobody want to see robot and robot play chess, right? People want to see human and human, right?
And that's why you see multi-billion investment in that area.
Starting, right?
Already started.
Yeah, lor.
So live music is also another one, right? I mean, musicians still playing music. Either it's a smaller band or a smaller setup. I understand, you know, if it's a producer type slash DJ, then have a singer, which is happening.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's also another thing that I think very hard for AI robot to do, right? Not saying they can't do,
I think they can do, but maybe audience won't appreciate it because they don't
It's
feel the-
soulless lah.
Soulless,
It's
that's the
soulless,
word.
lah.
Yeah.
It is soulless.
Music is all about the soul.
Yeah.
And I think is it also a lot about the struggle of the musician, where how they got to where they got. Then people resonate with their story. That's why they get the supporters.
Correct. Ironically, when AI and technology takes over, the human experience in the songwriting and the soul part maybe gets more amplified. Who knows? Yeah. So I really don't know. It's a cycle to me lah. You know.